Alright, what's good, y'all? It's Devon. I'll be gaming. Welcome back to the channel. We doing something a little different this time. It's my first reaction video. Now, I don't have a playthrough on the channel yet. I'm still contemplating it, honestly, because I love this game so much. Sometimes I'm just like, bro, I want to keep it to me. I want to do it myself. But you know what I'm saying? I might put a playthrough on the channel. Evolution of God of War animation by Flat Life. We're going to be reacting to that today. I've never seen this video before, but I've been replaying through both the God of War games right now. Like, it's one big ass story. The Norse saga. I've never played the originals. I definitely, if I can find a way to do that, all of them, then I'll play that on the channel for sure. But today, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be watching this video.
What
Let's
do you
see what
get
it
if you
hit for.
take a pissed
Let's see
off,
what it hit for.
unpredictable demigod on an adventure fueled by vengeance and throw in epic battles against figures from Greek and Norse mythology? You get one hell of a gaming franchise. That's what.
Facts.
Hold on to your loincloth because this is the
I'm
evolution
holding it.
of God of War.
My bad.
Following the success of their futuristic racing game Kinetica in 2002, Santa Monica Studios began developing a new title using the same game engine. It was to be called God of War. The game's director and creator David Jaff
Why are you looking
revealed
at
that
me like
he had
that?
been inspired by Capcom's title Onimusha, a game which retells Japanese history using historical figures and supernatural elements, and said, let's do that with Greek history. Other inspirations for God of War included the 1981 feature films Clash of the Titans and Raiders of the Lost Ark, plus an American science fiction and fantasy comics magazine called Heavy Metal. While taking characters and themes from Greek mythology to begin with, the development team at Santa Monica allowed themselves lots of creative freedom and simply looked to incorporate the coolest aspects of the subject to make for the most entertaining experience. Lead concept artist Charlie Wen drew inspiration from the 1981 movies as well as more modern films like 2000's Gladiator for the visual design of characters and the game's setting. Gameplay, on the other hand, was heavily influenced by the Strider arcade franchise, another hack and slash game from Capcom. God of War was first unveiled at Sony America's Santa Monica Gamers Day in 2004. In an interview with GameSpot at E3 that same year, developers described it as merging the action of Devil May Cry with the puzzle solving of Ico. They also...
Bro, I really want to play the original games, bro. I know the whole story. I watched an hours long video of Kratos' whole story because when I played God of War 2018, bro, I was hooked. I was like, bro, who the fuck is this nigga, bro? And then I learned and I was like, yo, bro, that story is so crazy and the world is so cool. The soundtrack is so cool, bro. But these games aren't on the PlayStation Store, dog. What? Like, you can only play God of War 3. You know, I only got a PS4 and a PS5. My PS2 days are long gone, bro. I don't even know if it was on. No, it had to have been on the PS2, right? So I just didn't have the games. I just never played them. But now I think like the only way you could play them is like if you got a PC and you need an emulator and like all this nonsense, bro. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. But if I ever can find a way to play them, I mean, shit, I got Ultimate Spider-Man on my goddamn laptop, bro. I got Ultimate Spider-Man on my laptop. I'm gonna definitely play that for y'all. So maybe I can get it the same way I got that on my laptop. We'll see.
So promised that players would be able to
Damn,
sunder enemies with a single move, such as by ripping them in half. Following the teasers, it's fair to say gamers were pretty hyped for the release of God of War. At least if they owned a PlayStation 2 anyway, as the Sony published title was to be a PlayStation.
Oh my god, father! My father never bought me this game. He never put me on, bro. Why wasn't this in my catalog? You feel what I'm saying? I had the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. I remember playing Shadow the Hedgehog, Lego Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Nightmare. I'm getting off track.
PlayStation exclusive. On March 22nd, 2005, the game was officially released, and all hell broke loose. Enter Kratos, a demigod with superhuman strength and abilities who was once a fierce Spartan warrior. Mainly through flashbacks, it is revealed that in battle against the barbarians, Kratos offered his life and service to Ares,
Whoa.
the god of war, in return for victory.
Ares
Sensing
got
Kratos'
some
formidable
thighs on him.
power,
What?
Ares accepted and bestowed upon Kratos the Blades of Chaos.
At KFC, grab 2 pieces of hot, juicy chicken, a side of mashed potatoes.
I hope I'm not seeing this because I'm a nigga. Algorithm, what is you on right now? Showing me KFC. KFC ain't even hit like that. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Popeye's way better.
Curved blades forged
Popeyes
in the
over
pits of
KFC
Hades
any day of
that
the
became fused to Kratos' arms by long chains. Following the battle, Kratos became a servant to Ares and led his Spartan army to conquer much of Greece. However, in one village, Ares put Kratos into a rage, ensuring he killed anyone in his path. Shockingly, the last 2 victims of Kratos' bloodlust turned out to be his own wife and daughter. Ares explained that this was a
Tragic,
test of the
bro.
Spartans' power and severed his final ties to humanity. The oracle of the village destroyed by Kratos cursed our protagonist, binding the ashes of his dead family to his skin, making it pale and giving Kratos a new moniker, the Ghost
Like, why
of
she have to
Sparta.
throw the L in his face
Kratos
like that?
renounced his service to Ares and began
Where's the
wandering
support?
the earth, feared by others, and seeking the service of other gods to redeem himself and seek vengeance against Ares.
Ares, you will die for what you did that night.
And from then on, it was up to the player to take control of Kratos and complete his mission. How about that for the best introduction to a game ever?
Pretty fire.
With gameplay that focused on bloody combat and puzzle solving, gamers strapped in for an awesome ride, using an array of weapons and superhuman powers to fight multiple enemies
I heard that
brought
move is
to
like
life
busted
from
in
Greek
speed runs.
mythology.
That lightning
Many
move you
battles
do.
involved a mini-game where precise button presses, analog spins, or button mashing is used to defeat enemies with a gruesome special kill. Red experience orbs spread throughout the game enabled Kratos to level up his weapons and powers, while Gorgon eyes and Phoenix feathers increased his overall health and magic respectively. Many of the weapons and powers in-game allude to Greek myths, like the Blade of Artemis or Medusa's gaze. Movie-like presentation.
Honestly, after watching the story for like Kratos' shit, bro, that shit got me into like all Greek mythology. Like, I watched like a 3-hour video and plus a bunch of other videos on like the whole Greek mythology, bro. That shit is fascinating, bro. Fascinating. He's not even a part of it, but it's just like, it's cool as fuck, honestly. Those stories are super cool.
In a story mode that switched seamlessly from FMV sequences to gameplay and back were revolutionary, with load times masked by having the player traverse a long, often featureless area. Quite rightly, God of War received very positive reviews, and many people consider it to be among the greatest PlayStation 2 games ever. One review from CNN stated that it was the type of game that makes you remember why you play games in the first place. Metacritic recorded a very impressive score of 94, and it was also a commercial success with 4.6 million copies sold. Fun fact, upon completion of the game, players gained access to a graveyard containing character models that were rejected. Some of them are enemies, and others are of Kratos himself. A few of them even have notes from the developers to explain why they were rejected.
Oh
The
yeah, that's
Cyclops,
right. He
in
was gonna have
particular,
blue tattoos.
has many binned versions.
I don't think that would've
and
hit
it is
the
revealed
same,
they
bro.
were originally going to be naked.
Whoa!
Thankfully, at least one eye was
Put your
covered
clothes
up
back on,
in the
gang,
end
please.
product.
Good
Interestingly, the first title in the God of War series was supposed to be its own self-contained story. After its success, the sequels were made to be more interconnected. This is why there are some inconsistencies in the franchise's lore, and why some of the events of the first game are no longer considered canon.
Like what? Wait, like what parts? What parts? I didn't know about that. What parts are not canon, friend? This is from God of War 2, though. Like, I want to play
That said,
this
God of War
mission
2
so
was
bad.
still a sequel and picked up the plot 13 in-game years after the first game ended. Spoiler alert, by defeating Ares,
Oh, so you've been
Kratos,
God
the
of War
once
for
mortal
13
warrior,
years.
became the new God of War. However, Kratos soon found himself alone in Olympus, shunned by his fellow gods.
By defeating Ares, Kratos, the once mortal warrior.
His character design is like on point in God of War 2. Like,
However,
that face
Kratos
is just
soon
like,
found himself alone on Olympus, shunned by his fellow
that's a
gods.
bad man, bro.
The second entry into this much-loved action-adventure series was released in March 2007. The North American version was packaged in a 2-disc set, one disc for the actual
Album
game,
cover hard.
and the other containing information about God of War 2's development, including a diary of the game's production. European and Australian versions offered a special edition with similar content. Vengeance was once again the game's central theme, although this time it was the almighty Zeus who had betrayed Kratos
Why
by
you built
killing him,
like that?
stripping him of his godliness, and sending him to the underworld. However, Kratos is saved by the Titan Gaia, who instructs him to find the Sisters of Fate, for they will allow him to travel back in time and take revenge on Zeus. The gameplay of God of War 2 did not change much from the first outing. The combination of combat, platforming, and puzzle game elements is continued, as are the mini-games used to perform bloody kills. Red orbs, Gorgon eyes, and Phoenix feathers all returned, though some of the items obtained by Kratos throughout the game are different. In God of War 2, these include Icarus's wings, an item cut from the original game that allows players to glide short distances, plus the Golden Fleece, which allows players to repel projectiles.
He did that boy Icarus
Just like
so
the
foul.
first game, God of War 2 received fantastic reviews,
But
scoring
he was
93
tripping,
out of
though.
100 from Metacritic. Chris Roper of IGN called it one of gaming's most intense and engaging experiences available, and defended the fact that the mechanics hadn't changed much, saying it was for good reason, as it was already perfect the first time out.
Word
It's time to
IGN, W
videomize your
Glaze.
life and kiss buffering goodbye.
That was a
Stream
premium
movies and
glaze
shows without cable.
from whoever
Among God of
whoever
War
said
2's
that.
accolades were a
Premium
Golden
glaze.
Joystick for
Professional
PlayStation Game of the Year
glaze.
2007, presented at the 2007 Golden Joystick Awards. The sequel sold almost as many copies as the original game, totaling 4.2 million copies worldwide. Fun fact, the boat captain is an unfortunate recurring character in the God of War franchise. Kratos lets him fall to his death in the original title, and in the sequel, Kratos kills the captain when he is summoned as a soul by the barbarian king.
That is tough.
Humorous references to the captain can be
That's
found
very
in
tough.
later titles too, but it's arguably his appearance in God of War 2 that is the
But
funniest.
he feels sorry
especially
about
if
it
you're
in
a
the
fan
new
of
games, I
dark
think.
humor. One of the most obscure
think
games
he
in the
talks
God
about
of
the
War
boat
series
captain
is
once
God
with
of War
Mimir.
Betrayal, a mobile game that also came out in 2007. Acting as a prequel to God of War 2, the 2D side-scroller saw Kratos blamed for the murder of a giant named Argos. The player, as Kratos, is tasked with hunting down the actual assassin in order to clear his name. Bizarrely, though, the game never ends up revealing the assassin's identity as they escape, and Kratos realizes his actions have further alienated the gods and likely angered Zeus.
Yeah, I know nothing about
Betrayal
this
is
mobile
the
game.
only
Keep it
God of
right.
War title to date not released for the PlayStation. It was well received by critics, though, for adapting the main gameplay characteristics properly. It even received awards for Best Wireless Platform Game.
Kratos, why you looking at me like that? Whoa!
In
That was a little
2008,
too
the
intimate,
first God
bro.
of War game for the PlayStation Portable was released, titled God of War: Chains of Olympus. It was developed by Dawn Studios and served as a prequel to the original 2005 game. It followed events during the 10-year period in which Kratos served the gods of Olympus. Kratos is tasked with completing several goals so that he may achieve redemption for the nightmares that haunt him. With gameplay elements essentially the same as those seen in the console releases, Chains of Olympus served as an incredible option for those wanting to play God of War on the go. The game received a score of 91, making it the highest rated PSP game on Metacritic. Chains of Olympus was later remastered to be included in both the 2011 God of War Origins Collection and 2012's God of War Saga for the PlayStation 3.
I never had a PSP.
Suffering will
I was an Xbox kid for real. I started with the PS2, but then after that, straight Xbox. I lived in an Xbox household, bro. Halo all the way. Another series I'm gonna play for y'all.
My
Check it out.
vengeance.
Hold up. Hold up.
Ends now.
Speaking of which, the first God of War title to come out on PS3 was, appropriately, God of War 3. It was released in March 2010 and later remastered in 2015 to be playable on the PS4. It carried on from the plot of God of War 2 after Kratos was betrayed at the hands of Zeus, who, by the way, turns out to be Kratos' dad. Kratos ascends Mount Olympus, but is abandoned by the Titan Gaia. Controlling Kratos, the player must battle monsters, gods, and titans, while guided by Athena's spirit, find Pandora's box, and open it to defeat Zeus, and take some sweet revenge. In terms of gameplay, it was another case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for the third main installment. One interesting element that was added, though, was godly possessions. In addition to relics such as Icarus's wings and the Golden Fleece, godly possessions were hidden throughout the game to be found and used at any time during a second playthrough. There were 10 godly possessions in total, including Poseidon's conch shell, which granted the player infinite magic,
Conch shell.
Hercules' shoulder guard, which decreased damage taken by a third, and Hermes' coin, allowing the player to collect 10 times the amount of red orbs. While useful, once a godly possession was activated, a player could no longer receive PlayStation trophies for that playthrough. As expected, God of War 3 performed
crazy.
just as well as its predecessors, garnering universal acclaim and scoring 92 out of 100 on Metacritic. Reviewer Nathan Dedham summed things up by saying the game is inches away from scoring 10 of 10. It's only the familiarity of the core gameplay that makes it feel less than the very, very best. But it's definitely the biggest, and if this is the finale, then God of War 3 gives PlayStation's toughest hero the send-off he deserves. Surprisingly for a sequel, God of War 3 outsold its predecessors by hitting over 5 million copies in worldwide sales. Fun fact, God of War 3 won multiple times at the 2010 Spike Video Game Awards. While Best PS3 Game and Best Graphics were great acknowledgments,
See, I can play through that one. Oh, what the? Hold up. Damn, I don't know when that happened. I don't even know why that's been happening for real. Alright. What was I gonna say, man? Fuck. Oh, God of War 3. Yeah, I can't play that. That is on the PlayStation, on the PS5 store, but like, I like playing like whole series of games. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to just start at God of War 3, bro. Like, I want to play it. Ideally, I'd want to play it in chronological order. But I don't, like, I think in chronological order it goes Ascension, and I don't even know if Ascension is available. It goes Ascension, Chains of Olympus, God of War 1, Ghost of Sparta, God of War 2, God of War 3. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Then the Norse games. Ideally, I would like to play it in chronological order. So even though 3 is available, that's not, I don't want to start our playthrough there. You know, exception, I feel like it's an exception for 2018 because you don't need to play the old games to play 2018. I'm a huge fan of 2018. I did not know shit about the old games before. I knew he killed all the gods and shit, but like, I was not privy. I wasn't familiar with Kratos' game. You feel what I'm saying? Literally and metaphorically.
Kratos received his own special award for Biggest Badass. I certainly can't think of a video game character more deserving of it. Can you? In November of 2010, a second game was developed by Ready at Dawn
There's
and
some
released
arguments.
for the PSP, titled
I'm not gonna
God of
argue with
War,
you, though.
Ghost of Sparta. With a storyline that took place between God of War and God of War 2, It followed Kratos as he visited the long-lost city of
And this is
Atlantis,
about his brother
revealing
Deimos,
further
right?
details about his past along the way. In the game, the player learns that Kratos' long-lost mother and brother Deimos are alive. Once again, the game was admired by critics, with IGN awarding it
Nah,
a
the way Zeus
9.5
did
out of
bro's
10,
mom?
and pointing out that there's nothing unique here,
Bro.
but that's not a bad thing.
This is your brain
that
when you're struggling
nigga
to focus.
Zeus is evil,
and
bro.
this is your brain when you're in the
That
zone.
nigga is evil.
But getting in the zone.
Fuck Pandora's box to release
Eurogamer only
fear
gave
into
it a
him.
7
Nah,
out of 10,
that nigga
though,
is a
claiming
demon.
that Ghost of Sparta is a step back for the series if you've played the PlayStation 3 game. Overall, Metacritic measured a score of 86, and Ghost of Sparta went on to win several awards, including Best Handheld Game, Best PSP Game, and PSP Game of Show at E3. It ended up selling around 1.2 million copies worldwide, making it the 15th best-selling
both
PlayStation
PSP
Portable
games.
game. Fun fact, Ghost of Sparta confirmed
Chains of
an
Olympus
old
and
mystery in
Ghost
the
of
God of
Sparta.
War series concerning the identity of the Gravedigger.
That's Zeus, right?
In the original
Gravedigger is
game,
Zeus?
the Gravedigger saved Kratos by digging a grave that reached through to hell. This led to theories that the character could be a god in disguise, possibly Zeus or Hermes. The theory was confirmed in the unlockable combat arena of Ghost of Sparta, where you can play as the Gravedigger who, once selected, transforms into Zeus
Oh, that's
and wields
fire.
both the Blade of Olympus and the Gauntlet of
Bro,
Zeus.
games don't really like have like cool little like secrets like
In
that.
March
like,
2013, God of War Ascension was released as
They
the
don't make
7th
games the same
installment
for
in the
real
God of
anymore.
War series, playable on the PlayStation 3. In terms of its
I
plot,
heard everybody thought this
Ascension
game was
serves
ass,
as the
but I don't
first
know.
chapter, taking place before Kratos' reign as the God of War, roughly 6 months after the unintentional killing of his wife and daughter. Flashbacks are again used to aid the timeline, which follows Kratos' allegiance to Ares, and the events that occur happen 10 years before those in the first game. Marketing material claimed that Ascension was the most ambitious God of War adventure in the series so far, and the most notable addition was a new online multiplayer mode.
Multiplayer
In it,
in
players
God of
could
War
play
is
cooperatively
bananas,
or
son.
competitively. Up to 8 players on 2 teams
That is actually
could battle
bananas.
for control of a map in a deathmatch style to earn rewards from the gods. One-on-one matches were also available. Players could sell their champion's soul to either Zeus, Hades, Ares, or Poseidon, enabling them to try different weapons, armor sets, and powers inspired by
Damn.
the god of their choice. While God of
See how
War
he kicked,
Ascension
bro?
received generally favorable reviews, it was the lowest ranked title of the series to date, with a score of 80. The fundamental gameplay and spectacle were deemed great, but the lack of new ideas and a mixed response to the multiplayer mode dragged the overall score down. Sales numbers also dipped to just over 3 million copies. And despite several nominations, Ascension failed to pick up any awards. Santa Monica Studio was tired of using the same God of War format repeatedly. To make things worse, after God of War Ascension, they asked fans of the series what they thought of God of War. And many told harshly that they were done with Kratos. He either needed to go away or get a fresh start.
I'm sorry, I'm pausing right there because fans of the God of War series said that they was done with Kratos. Do you know how many negative critiques of the newer games that I've seen where these motherfuckers are upset that they're focusing more on Atreus and other characters? Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I swear, bro, but in the past like week, I done seen like 4 like negative critiques on Ragnarok. I have my issues with Ragnarok. I'm gonna speak on that. I'm gonna speak on that at some point. But I love both games, nonetheless. I just like 2018 more than Ragnarok, but I love both games. Don't hurt me. But like, bro, the fans of the series are saying that they was done with Kratos and that he needs a reimagining. They give the people what they want. Niggas is complaining. Shut up. I'm just playing too. I know it's not. I know, you know, there's some people. I know not everybody, not every fan voted that. Get off my, oh my God, bro. I'm playing. Relax.
So the studio decided to reinvent the franchise.
You've worn many hats from past jobs, in fact.
Girl,
Now
take them
you can
goofy ass hats off. Get back to work.
However,
No, I'm playing.
this
I'm
wasn't
playing.
as easy as it sounds. To create the reboot, they brought back Cory Barlog, a lead figure
Mike-
for the early God
Mike,
of War
no.
games. And this time,
Hold up,
he
hold
would
up. I'm
be the
sorry. Let me take
director
that
of the
back.
game. Originally, the place was going
Cory
to be
Barlog, I
Egypt,
love your work.
which, of course, could also be a very interesting setting. Kratos killing Egyptian gods? Yeah, I'd love to see that. Eventually, they decided it was worth the risk, and Atreus was added to the story. In this story, Kratos wasn't just an angry version of himself, like he was in the previous games. This time, the studio wanted a well-thought-out story. Kratos helps his son as a mentor, while Atreus helps Kratos become a father. The team also decided
Y'all.
to hire a new voice actor.
I want to speak on this game so hard, but I almost feel like it should be a different video. No cap. I have so much to say about how I feel about 2018 and Ragnarok. The only thing I'm gonna say right now is that father-son dynamic between Kratos and Atreus, bro. They nailed that shit, bro, and it hits so close to home, dude. Dude, it hits so close to home, bro. Like, Cory Barlog, you nailed that shit, bro. You deserve a cake and some flowers.
Actor for Kratos. And eventually, they found the perfect match. Christopher Judge.
My man Christopher Judge, you killed
My
that
agent
shit,
called
bro.
me, and I wasn't really sold on
You killed
auditioning
that.
for it. I know it sounds silly now.
When Christopher read the script, he envisioned a movie. He just couldn't believe all of it was for a video game.
Exactly what I am.
Not to me!
And it just, I couldn't
Boy.
wrap my head around
Boy.
how this would be in a video game.
Boy,
Christopher
if you don't...
also brought some humor to the set.
Have you missed me?
No, not really.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Come on, man. It's okay. It's okay to love, dog. You gotta, you know, don't forget that. It's okay to love. Love is first, followed closely by hate and divorce and alimony. Those are the things we teach kids on set.
Apparently, Kratos also loves to make dad jokes.
What do you call a blind deer? No idea. I don't trust stairs. They are always up to something.
Fun fact.
Stick to the script, my nigga.
Terrence Connor Carson, better known as TC Carson, had voiced Kratos in almost every God of War game. But
You
for God
also
of
killed
War in
him, my man.
2018, he was replaced by Christopher Judge.
Much respect.
What was the
Salute
reason?
TC Carson, bro. You
Apparently,
also killed your
Carson
shit.
wasn't tall enough to portray Kratos for motion capture. Sadly, he wasn't even told he'd been replaced.
That is kind of
Maybe
fucked
they were
up.
just
You
trying
didn't
to
have
get him
do
to
like
channel
that.
his rage for the next game.
Boy!
Or not, seeing as how Christopher Judge is known to have returned for the role.
And the rage takes you. That is me in your blood, eating away at any goodness your mother may have passed on to you.
The team grew bigger and bigger, and eventually the game was made with over 300 people, including Danielle Basutti, who plays the Norse goddess Freya in the game.
She killed
Funnily
her
enough,
role.
she thought she was auditioning for Game of
Everybody,
Thrones.
bro. All the actors go crazy. Their performances went crazy. Bro, you better move, son. Bro, you better move out the way. Oh, this nigga's cooked. You better stop that. I never seen Game of
I thought I
Thrones.
was auditioning for Game of Thrones.
I never seen Game of Thrones.
I was pulling on a major Lady Stark.
I wasn't
moment
there
with
for
my
that, yo.
monologue, and I was like, "This is my moment."
Musicians also played an important role in making the game as epic as possible. Bear McCreary, an Emmy-winning musician, composed the music for God
He appears in Ragnarok as a dwarf, bro. Rabe. He's Rabe.
of War.
And at the last minute, I was like,
Son.
It's so simple
Ooh,
that I
that
almost
shit.
wrote it by accident. It was the last thing I did in sketching that theme.
That soundtrack.
But I mean, I've come to really love it, and I think its simplicity is what
feel
makes it so powerful and
powerful.
It represents Kratos. He's a man of few words. His theme should be a theme of few notes.
At E3 2016, it was the first time the team
That's some
showcased
musical
what they'd been
genius shit,
working
bro.
on for years.
What for?
A test. She taught you to hunt, yes?
Yes, sir.
Then show me what you know. I am hungry. Feed us.
That was straight up paralyzing. I was literally paralyzed, full chills, entire body.
They just hoped people would be happy with the changes they made. And it's an understatement to say people were excited.
You know, but the scary thing was, like, we showed 10 minutes and 45 seconds or something, and it took a year and a half to get there. And now we have a year and a half left, essentially.
Now it dawned on the team that they had to deliver a
That
game
boy
that
Eric
was
looked
as
stressed by
amazing
the
as the
end of
demo.
Ragnarok.
They were worried that the team didn't have enough
He got a
time to
whole
make the rest
beard
of the
now.
game as epic as the demo. Doubts began growing as the release date approached. So much had to be done and there was so little time.
Like, we are literally all in on this game. You have to get 150 people who are very stubborn and passionate and creative to all see a similar picture that doesn't exist. And doubt is the demon that lives in the ear of every person in this industry.
When you have auto glass damage, let Safeline
I
come
don't
to
have
you.
auto glass damage, Chloe.
My customer enjoys
Why are you
time with her
interrupting
family.
me?
The team really put their hearts and
So it's
souls
a
into the
special
game,
moment.
as
I'm
is
enjoying
seen
it with my
here as
viewers. Shut
Christopher
your ass
sheds
up.
a tear.
Ancient change. You will always be a monster.
I know.
Before God of War was released, a text-based game playable through Facebook Messenger appeared called God of War, a call from the wilds in 2018. It turned out to be a collaboration between Sony and Facebook to promote the upcoming God of War game for the PS4, featuring a short story that follows Kratos' son Atreus on his first adventure in the Norse wilds. Atreus hears the voice of a dying deer and finds it covered in blood. Then suddenly, some draugrs appear. Atreus attempts to fight them, but he is injured. Guess who comes to the rescue? Kratos. Kratos and his son then battle a revenant before returning home. The end. Completing a call from the wilds unlocked downloadable concept art. If nothing else, it served as an interesting teaser for the PS4 game. Named simply God of War, the 8th installment of the franchise was a reimagining of the series. Instead of focusing on Greek mythology, there was a switch to Norse mythology, with most of the stories set in ancient Scandinavia in the realm of Midgard. After 5 years since the previous main installment of the God of War franchise, it was finally time for a new skull-smashing adventure, when on April 20th, 2018, God of War was released. Initially, the game was released exclusively for the PlayStation 4, but 4 years later, in 2022, the game was also playable on Windows PCs. Events in-game are still said to take place after those in God of War 3, though many years have passed, and Kratos is visibly much older. And of course, aside from the mythologies, another major change was the addition of Kratos' son, Atreus, which meant that there was now 2 protagonists for the first time. After taking vengeance and surviving the final encounter with Zeus, Kratos finds himself living with his son in ancient Norway. It is a savage land inhabited by ferocious beasts and warriors. Kratos' second wife, Faye, has recently died, and as per her wishes, father and son must take her ashes to the highest peak of the 9 realms. Along the way, the duo comes into conflict with monsters and gods of the Norse world.
Bro.
In order to teach his son how to survive in this harsh environment, Kratos must channel his rage and power into the toughest assignment of all, fatherhood.
Close your heart to it. Come then. We have a long journey.
This nigga want to interrupt the moment.
To match the new setting, several changes
That
were
was
made
perfect,
to gameplay and visuals. Kratos uses a magical battle axe instead of his signature double-chained blades. This axe, called the Leviathan Axe, is infused with ice elemental magic. The axe can be thrown at enemies and magically summoned back to his hand. Spoiler alert, when Atreus falls sick and Kratos hopes Freya can revive him, she tells him she can't do that by herself. Kratos needs to go to Helheim and collect the heart of the Bridgekeeper there.
There is a rare ingredient found only in Helheim. The keeper that protects the Bridge of the Damned. I need its heart.
However, his Leviathan Axe's frost powers won't do much damage in Helheim. Therefore, he must arm himself with another weapon, which are, of course, the Blades of Chaos. Longtime fans of the franchise will no doubt feel right at home when Kratos straps the chains around his arms.
You will always be a monster.
Like I keep saying, I didn't even...
I know. But I am your monster no longer.
The Blades of Chaos have 5 levels,
I was
which
dumb
allow
hyped
players
for
to
that,
perform
bro,
new
and I didn't even
combos
play the
and
OG
do
games.
increased damage.
That was my first
Just
time
like
touching the Blades of
Leviathan
Chaos,
Axe,
bro.
the
But I
blades
could
also
feel
have
how
a skill
special
tree.
that moment was.
Oh man, you've no idea how glad I was when I could finally use these blades again after so many years.
And then I seen this interview with Corey Barlog where he was like, and we intentionally threw a bunch of like light enemies at you in a group so you could see what the blades is good for and you could feel the power when you first use them. I'm like, the genius level game design in this nigga's brain, bro. You are a master of your craft. God damn, bro.
Even though combo-based combat and puzzle game elements are still in the game, the gameplay is vastly different from previous games, as it was completely rebuilt. Just as in previous games, there is also a rage ability called Spartan Rage. This time, however, it has a meter that gradually fills during combat. When using Spartan Rage, Kratos uses his bare hand to do powerful
I want to
attacks.
say something about this scene, but I'm going to save it for my review, bro. You see how far he punched that nigga
Meanwhile,
back?
an over-the-shoulder free camera is used to see the action,
He punched
as
bro
opposed to
off
the
his
fixed
feet.
cinematic camera of the previous entries. The game is presented in a continuous shot with no camera cuts or loading screens, which makes the game much more immersive. The game also features RPG elements, such as the ability to craft resources.
Bro, y'all might not understand. You're going to see me geek out over this game a lot, bro. A lot. Because this is deadass. God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, I look at it as one big story. I take it as one big story. Even though I prefer 2018 to Ragnarok, I take the whole thing as a whole. That game, that's one of my top 3 favorite video games of all time, my nigga. I love this game deeply, bro.
To create new
So,
or
you gonna see my ass
upgraded
geek
armor.
out. Full
There
glazed.
are also experience points,
Full glazed.
which are used to learn new combat skills while exploring the gorgeous world. Players can also find chests that contain items as well as hack silver currency, which can be used for crafting and
I've been
purchasing
thinking
new
about
items.
doing a lore run.
2 special items,
Where I just
Eden
slowly
apples
move through the game.
and horns
We
of
pick
blood
up all
mead
the
increase
everything,
the
we read all
maximum
the lore
length of the
together.
health and rage meters,
Let me know if y'all be
respectively.
interested in that.
Besides a health meter above the enemy's heads, there's also a stun meter. When it is full, a grab prompt appears. This allows Kratos to wreak havoc and, depending on the enemies, do multiple attacks, including ripping an enemy in half. Many of the development team from Santa Monica Studios who worked on the original God of War game also worked on this title and designed it to be both accessible and grounded. The result was a remarkable return to form, with Metacritic recording a critically acclaimed 94 out of 100, making it the highest-rated God of War title, together with the first game of the series. While the gameplay and graphics received high praise, the
Man,
story
this
and
fucking
cast
twist at
also
the end,
won people
bro.
over. Peter Brown of GameSpot
So
called the
gas.
characters strong, convincing, and oddly enchanting. Games Radar agreed and called God of War one of the PlayStation's finest moments. Kratos has been reimagined for a new audience while keeping the best bits of what originally made him great. Guardian was also impressed by the technological improvements and said it's rare to play a game so accomplished in everything it sets out to do. God of War is a standard setter both technologically and narratively. It is a game that, until recently, would have been impossible. Many reviewers felt it had successfully revitalized the series without losing the core identity of its predecessors. IGN gave God of War a perfect score and confirmed this in their review by saying, "I expected great action from God of War, and it delivers that handily. But I didn't expect it to be a thrilling journey in which every aspect of it complements the others to form what is nothing short of a masterpiece." GameRant, who gave the game a 10 out of 10, said, quote, "The best comparison to be made is that Sony Santa Monica took a blockbuster popcorn action flick and made it an Oscar contender without sacrificing any of the series' central DNA. God of War is one of this generation's crowning achievements, and it is up there with some of Sony's best." Countless more reviewers highly praised the game, but I think God as a Geek summed it up pretty nicely. One of the best games on PS4, and one of the best games of this generation. A masterpiece. It was no surprise that God of War picked up Game of the Year awards from numerous publications.
All right, and the game award for Game of the Year goes to God of War.
The game became a massive commercial success and has already sold over 20 million copies. This is more than all sales of all the previous God of War games combined.
That's
the only
crazy.
Downside was that gamers had to wait a while for another sequel, although that wait is finally over. Fun fact, Kratos is a big guy, but just how tall is he? According to the developer at Santa Monica Studios, his height varies between the games and comic books. In comics, he's a lofty 7 foot 6 inches or 2.3 meters, whereas in game, he's around 6 foot 4 inches or 1.8 meters. Either way, I suppose it's not really his height that's the most intimidating thing about Kratos.
Definitely not, bro. And I'm only 5'8", so a 6'4" nigga still big to me. Oh my god. Piece that nigga up, bro. Oh my god, bro. That fight with Baldur, dude. I will argue, mechanically, it's not the most, you know, I guess mechanically engaging or complex fight. But them cutscenes, you better stop it playing with me, bro. That cutscene wise, cinematic wise, presentation wise, I'ma save it. I'ma save it for my other video. But goddamn, bro, when he punched the two,
as any good game showed, God of War 2018 left players wanting more. Game director Cory Barlog had already confirmed that a sequel would take place in a Norse setting, and a secret ending to the 2018 game showed a vision of Thor confronting Kratos and his son. One year later, to celebrate the first anniversary of the previous game, Barlog posted a series of tweets on Twitter with pictures and comments about the development of God of War 5, which at that point was still untitled. Some eagle-eyed fans noticed that the first letter of Barlog's tweets spelled out the phrase, "Ragnarok is coming." Unfortunately, fans would have to wait longer than expected to get their hands on the next installment.
When you are at your weakest.
In fear and doubt, are a burden too heavy to bear.
Originally scheduled for release in 2021, God of War Ragnarok was delayed due to both the pandemic and Christopher Judge's health problems. But finally, on the 9th of November 2022, God of War Ragnarok was released for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
Right. Let that man get right.
As suggested by its title, the game centers around a series of events known as Ragnarok, which in Norse mythology brings about the end of days and depicts the deaths of some of the major gods. The event was foretold in the previous game after Kratos killed the Norse god Baldur.
I want to live there.
Chronologically, Ragnarok picks up approximately 3 years after the previous title and serves as both a sequel and a finale to the Norse era of God of War. As Fimbulwinter draws to a close, Kratos and his now teenage son Atreus must traverse the 9 realms to seek out a way of preventing Ragnarok. At the same time, they seek answers to Atreus' true identity. The duo encounter many Norse gods, though their main conflict lies with Thor, the god of thunder, who seeks revenge following the deaths of his half-brother Baldur and 2 sons, Modi and Magni. Freya, Baldur's mother, also makes an appearance, as does the Allfather of the Norse gods.
Freya really reminds me of my mom a lot.
Ragnarok's gameplay is similar to the 2018 title.
I can still feel everything in my body,
enemy
though, so,
types
I love
and
my
many
mom.
boss battles that add depth and variety. Kratos is equipped with the
But
Leviathan
if she had the
axe,
power to cast
in
that
addition
spell,
to
I
his
bet you she
iconic
would.
double-chained blades, which can now be used like a grappling hook. Weapon signature moves allow Kratos to infuse each weapon with elemental powers, such as ice and fire, and to unleash powerful elemental attacks. He can also carry one of several different shields, the mechanics of which have been revamped for Ragnarok to make them more versatile in combat.
I stay with that
As in the
downless arm,
previous
bro.
game, Atreus helps his father in
I don't
combat,
use
in
nay
addition
other
to
shield. I'm a
traversal,
high risk, high reward
exploration,
kind of guy.
and puzzle solving. The player can passively control Atreus by dictating where he fires his arrows with his talon bow, as well as choosing which magical spectral animals he can summon to further help with combat. Role-playing elements return in Ragnarok, and players can find crafting resources to create new armor or upgrade existing armor with better perks. The addition of armor transmogrification now means the player can change their appearance without losing any of the equipped armor's stats.
Oh yeah,
The
that shit
critical
is fire.
response to
You can
God
change
of
the
War
appearance,
Ragnarok
bro.
has so far been
I wish you could do that in the
outstanding,
OG
with
game,
reviewers awarding a score of 94 out of 100
That was a
according
nice
to
quality of
Metacritic.
life change for sure.
GameRant gave the game a perfect score and said God of War Ragnarok is a once-in-a-generation game. Gaming Trend were also very
not
impressed.
perfect, but
it's rare to
it's
see a sequel
gas.
nail it this hard. But God of War Ragnarok has once again raised the bar for every action-adventure title. It's the best game I've played in a very, very long time, and is, in a word, perfect. IGN gave the game a 10 out of 10 and said in their review, God of War Ragnarok is an almighty achievement and creates a new high that makes many of its peers look mortal by comparison.
All right.
Upon the game's release, Sony announced that it expects sales of God of War Ragnarok to at least match that of God of War 2018, which is mighty impressive considering the PS5 supply issues and economic situation around the world right now. Still, nothing's going to stop me getting
The
my
way
hands
he
on a
did that
copy of
boy
the game.
Heimdall,
How about
bro,
you?
Had my jaw on the ground, son. Oh my god, that kill was vicious and personal.
Is Ragnarok the
And
best title in the
intimate.
God of War series?
I already told you, I like 2018 more. Damn, that's a beautiful scene.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for making. Let me leave a like real quick. Fire vid, fire vid, fire vid. Fire vid. Alright, y'all. That's my reaction to the evolution of God of War animation. That shit was fun as hell. You're going to see a lot more reaction videos on the channel. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've just been having a lot of technical difficulties. But I figured my shit out. I figured my OBS out. So, you know, it's lit. So, shit, yeah. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and comment for more content. All that nonsense. Click the bell so you know when I'm posting new videos. Like I said, I think I have a lot that I want to talk about, bro, with God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok in relation to each other. So it's gonna be a very unprofessional, very opinionated. I mean, it's art, bro. It's subjective. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking on this shit like it's fact. I'm just gonna tell you unprofessionally, very casually, the reasons why I enjoy 2018 more than Ragnarok. So stay tuned for that video. But until then, I'll see you on the next one, man. Check y'all out. Peace.